Deliverance of Jarasandha is a very interesting episode from Shrimadbhagavatam. Jarasandha was a king who ruled over Magadha and Kansa. He had fought the Yadava armies of Krishna 18 times but without a decisive victory. By all accounts, he was a charitable man and a chivalrous king. But he turned hostile to Krishna when the latter killed his son-in-law, Kansa, the king of Mathura, and Shri Krishna's maternal uncle. Jarasandha had imprisoned several kings whom he had defeated in battle. Stubbornly, he refused to release them. Yudhishthira ruled over Indraprastha. He was the head of the Pandava family and a cousin of Krishna's. On account of his strict adherence to truth and righteousness, Yudhishthira was called Dharmaraj. He was advised by learned Brahmins and sages to perform Rajasuya Yagya to propitiate gods and earn glory for himself and his reign. Rajasuya was also a sacrifice performed by a universal monarch, in which his tributary princes took part at the time of his coronation to mark his unchallenged sovereignty. Most of the kings, the story goes, in Bharat had accepted the sovereignty of Indraprastha, but not Jarasandha. Rajasuya Yagya could not be performed without the Magadha king submitting to the superiority of Yudhishthira. After consultation with the wise men at his court, Yudhishthira devised a strategy to tackle the mighty warrior. The story that follows is fascinating in every detail. Krishna, Bhima and Arjuna, disguised as Brahmins, visited Girivraja, Jarasandha capital. The mendicants were admitted to the king's august presence at a suitable time so that he could disburse his largesse, offer them alms, charity. With folded hands they prayed, "Rajan, we are your atithis and have travelled a long distance to approach you. Obviously we have a purpose. Kindly be generous and grant us our desire. Whatever we ask for." Rajan, great men who practice forbearance can withstand any discomfort. An evil person goes to any length to cause harm to another. A generous man's bounty knows no end, and for an unattached person, nobody is a friend, nor is anybody a foe. O great king, you must have heard of the generosity of Raja Harishchandra, of Ranti Deva, or of other persons like Bali, the king who gave away everything. Please do not disappoint us. Jarasandha listened to their pleadings attentively. However, the powerful voices of these mendicants, the deep ridges formed on their wrists by the bowstrings and other aspects of their bearing, convinced him that they were not Brahmins. They must be Kshatriyas. Unable to ascertain their true identity, he addressed the trio thus: "For certain you are not Brahmins. A serious want appears to have compelled you to come begging. I do not mind offering even my invaluable body if you ask for it." Disguised as Vamana, Vishnu deprived Bali of all that the latter had. Bali came to know of Vishnu's intentions from Shukracharya, yet he did not go back on his word. Said Jarasandha, "Even today, Bali's magnanimous deeds are remembered with devotion. Revered Brahmins I shall give my life if you ask for it. What do you want? Interestingly, it was Krishna who replied, Rajendra, we are not in fact mendicant Brahmins, we are Kshatriyas and have come here to challenge you to a battle. If you are generous, please agree to fight a duel so that, if possible, we can defeat you. I am Krishna, your old foe, and these two persons are Bhim and Arjuna, brothers of the Pandava king Yudhishthira. Jarasandha had a hearty laugh. He shouted contemptuously, You are real fools. You ask for a duel. I grant your request. Krishna, in my reckoning, you are a coward. Whenever I attacked you, you never fought face to face. You ran all the way to take refuge in the ocean. You deserted Mathura, the capital of the Yadavas. It is beneath my dignity to enter into a duel with you. Arjuna is younger to me. Nobody calls him a warrior. He is automatically eliminated, he said. That leaves Bhima. He seems like a suitable match. In looks and strength, he appears strong. I shall fight him. The four of them moved to an akhada where the duel could take place. Jarasandha offered a massive mace to Bhima and held a similar one in his grip. Jarasandha and Bhima were known for their strength. They bowed to each other and started attacking the vulnerable spots of the opponent with maces. Hard like rocks and heavy like a load of steel. The way they jumped and changed tactics and angles of strike, it appeared as if the two accomplished actors were fighting on a stage to please an audience. Mark the language. The way the Rishi is describing it. It's picturesque. When the maces struck each other, it sounded as if two massive elephants were clashing their tusks against each other, or like thundering clouds accompanied by flashes of lightning. It was like a fight between two elephants in mast. When they plucked branches of the palash trees to strike each other with, the branches were quickly stripped and reduced to shreds. Likewise, when Bhim and Jarasandha hit each other's shoulders, waist, legs, hands, arms, thighs or ribs, it was the mace that cracked and not their limbs. How figurative. When the maces were broken, the two warriors started hitting each other with fists in a free-for-all. Their eyes turned fiery red with anger. Their fists landed like large hammers. Their knockouts crackled like lightning, and their war cries echoed from the sky. Mark the description. Both were equally dexterous, equally motivated by anger, and both were strong and determined. They fought for hours during the day without loss of strength or resolve. Mind you, the nights were spent in friendly banter and in enjoying Jarasandha's hospitality. 27 days passed like this. On the 28th day, Bhima told Krishna that it was impossible to beat Jarasandha at this game. Krishna knew something that perhaps even Jarasandha had not known. He plucked the branch of a tree and tore into it. Starting at the top end, Bhima understood Krishna's intent. No words were spoken. In the akhada, Bhima lost no time. He caught hold of Jarasandha by his feet and threw him on the ground. He placed one foot on Jarasandha's right leg and pulling the left leg upwards, tore him into two. Just like an elephant tears a tree apart. Jarasandha's subjects were weeping. They cried on his death. He had been a good and loving king. Krishna, however, lost no time in anointing the late king's son Sahadev as the new monarch. In this, he placated the population. He patted Bhima on his back and embraced him. Immediately thereafter, they went to the royal prison, released all the kings who had been incarcerated. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. I'm sure you enjoyed this story. More will come. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namah. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna. Jai Shri Krishna.